Okay, let's call to order the Historic Preservation Commission regular meeting for June 4th, 2025. Roll call, please.
Okay. Commissioner Smith?
Present.
Commissioner Fair?
Present.
Commissioner Herlihy?
Present.
Commissioner Loring is not here yet. Commissioner Sievertson?
Here.
Commissioner Summers, did you want me to wait till he said no?
I said here.
I know, I heard you. Commissioner Summers?
Here.
And we are missing Commissioner Knight as well.
Okay, and next on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the February 5th, 2025 meeting. Do you have a motion or a preference? Or if you're all happy, we'll approve them.
I'll motion that we approve the minutes as recorded.
Second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Public hearings continued, none. New public hearings, 409 Opera Alley, awning removal and new sign installation. Could I have a staff report, please?
We have one of our new planners, Henry Baker, going to be presenting on this one.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Assistant Planner Henry Baker, and I'll be presenting the 409 Opera Alley awning removal and new sign installation for your consideration and approval. There we go. Here's a bird's eye view of the project location. The property is located at 409 Opera Alley, which is the same parcel as 213 E Street, a property on the Historic Register. The property is located within the city's coastal zone in historic Old Town. Zooming in further, we can see the property itself is located on the East Street frontage between 2nd and 3rd Streets on the north side of Opera Alley. The East Street frontage is described in the Green Book and was built circa 1876, shown here in red. And 409 Opera Alley is described in the National Register and was built around 1880 to 1890, shown here in green. The project itself is located on the Opera Alley frontage. Here's a recent view of the project location. The applicant proposes to remove an awning and install a new round hanging sign in its place. The awning was installed in 1981 and is not part of the historic structure. The new sign is a round 3-foot diameter, bidirectional projecting sign made of redwood and maple with a steel bracket. Staff has reviewed the relevant regulations and required permits and found the project involves modifications to the exterior of a historic structure, therefore, historic preservation review is required. The installation of a sign requires an administrative sign permit. The work will encroach on the public right-of-way, therefore, an encroachment permit is required. The project is within the city's coastal zone in the categorical exclusion zone, therefore, a categorical exclusion coastal clearance is required. While the project is within the design review area, administrative sign permits are exempt from design review. The project is categorically exempt from CEQA under a Class 31 Historical Resource Restoration and Rehabilitation exemption. And lastly, modifications are minor, therefore a building permit is not required. Eureka Municipal Code Section 157.006C requires a proposed alteration be reviewed in light of its effect on the historical character of the affected structure as it relates to the streetscape. In addition, the analysis in the staff report was based on the Secretary of Interior's standards for treatment of historic properties, specifically standards for rehabilitation. Based on the findings and the analysis demonstrated within the staff report, staff believes the proposed alteration meets the standards for rehabilitation. Therefore, the recommendation is to hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution finding the project is exempt from CEQA and conditionally approving the application. I have a suggested motion when you're ready, and the applicant and I are here to answer any questions you have.
First, my apologies for being tardy. Questions for staff? If there are no questions for staff, we'll open the public hearing and invite the applicant to address the commission. You're not required to do, but that is your option if you wish to. Please introduce yourself for the record.
Hello, my name is Raylena Crixton. I'm an independent consultant representing the owners of the new Kokoro Ramen Bar, Joe and Lily Tan. I brought a model sign for you guys to look at that actually is the material that will be used for the sign, if you guys want to pass that around. So, contrary to what was shown in the staff report, the maple and the redwood have been switched. But I think it makes for better visibility for the overall signage and the wording on the sign.
It's lovely. It is.
Yeah. So our hope with this project is to activate more of Eureka, especially in Opera Alley. The frontage is tucked away from the exterior of 207 E Street, and it's different, different awning or different exterior than that. But the restaurant is expected to open June 10th, and thank you all for your consideration. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. But
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant?
I'm just curious, you're removing an awning. Are you going, if there's any issues with that, I'm assuming you'd be touching it up and making it look matching what's there.
yes, correct. Where the awning was will be improved, and the whole building face, touched up.
Well, my daughters will love a new ramen restaurant.
Any other questions for the applicant? All right. Thank you very much for your presentation. Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to address the commission on this matter? Seeing no one approaching the microphone, I will close the public hearing and bring the matter back for consideration. We will have discussion, and when you're ready, there's a draft resolution which you may wish to consider. Discussion.
I think there was a note in the staff report, at least the written version, that the existing awning is a holdback to a day of the Italian restaurant in there, and taking it down would be a return to something more appropriate for historical, and that seems like a good visual thing for the alley.
All right. Other comments? Any additional discussion? If there's no additional discussion, does someone wish to forward the motion recommended by staff?
I'd be happy to make a motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. For the sake of form, is there any discussion of the motion which is now on the floor? I sense you're ready to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. It appears to be unanimous in favor. Will you advise the applicant on what this means?
Yes, the next steps will be to finalize the encroachment permit, and there will be a noticing period following, I believe, 10 days. 10 days.
Anything else on this matter? If not, then there is a second public hearing, the Jara wooden door replacement. Would you like to give us that report?
That's going to be our assistant planner, Alex Gonzalez.
Sweet.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Assistant Planner Gonzalez, and today I'll be presenting on the Jara wooden door replacement project for 3 doors at 904 M Street. 904 M Street is located in the northeast portion of the city. Moving in closer, the subject property outlined in yellow is on the southwest corner of 9th and M Street in the R3 Residential High Zoning District. The main residence, which is outlined in red, was constructed in 1895 and is described in the Green Book as a 2-story Queen Anne house with large added round arched windows in the first bay and a 1922 rear addition. The layout of the carriage house where the replacement will be taking place, outlined in blue, had a different layout previously, but the current layout was shown on the Sanborn map beginning in 1949. So the applicant proposes to replace 3 mismatched wooden doors shown in this image on the eastern facing facade of the detached carriage house facing the rear of the main residence, and install 3 solid pine doors with either a 9-light design or a 4-light design. For transparency's sake, I would like to mention that the applicant has since purchased but not installed the door with the 9-light design outlined in pink, as it is their preferred choice. As described in the staff report, the proposed doors match the style of the existing front door of the carriage house facing 9th Street, outlined here in orange. The existing hardware on door B and C is considered historic, and the applicant proposes to refurbish and reuse them. Door A is missing this hardware, and the applicant proposes to install an item of the similar style. Furthermore, if the existing historic hardware does not lock property due to its old age, then the applicant proposes to install a deadbolt on each of the doors to maintain security. Eureka Municipal Code, Chapter 157, Section 157006C requires a proposed alteration to be reviewed in light of its effect on the existing historical character of the affected structure as it relates to the streetscape. In addition, the analysis in the staff report was based upon the Secretary of Interior standards for the treatment of historic properties, specifically the standards for rehabilitation. And based on the findings made in the staff report, staff believes the project is consistent with the required findings, and our recommendation is to hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution finding the project is exempt from CEQA and approving with conditions. I have a suggested motion on the next slide, but we'll stop screen sharing until then. Staff is available if you have questions. Unfortunately, the applicant had a time conflict, so they're not available today.
Thank you. Questions for staff?
Yeah, I'm a little confused on the timeline. You mentioned that the building we're talking about is from the 40s?
The carriage house, the earliest we saw its configuration was from the 40s. There was previously a building almost the same size as that there before that, but yeah.
Well, we only have Sanborn map data from what years, like 1920 and 1949. So it could have happened any time in between there.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. So we don't have any real clarity except for those 2 time periods.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other questions for staff? If there are no further questions, then we'll open the public hearing. The hearing is open. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address the commission on this matter? Seeing the audience is empty, I assume no one is coming. Is there anyone virtual? No. So, seeing as no one is seeking to speak on this matter, we will close the public hearing and bring the matter back to the commission for consideration. Discussion, what is your pleasure?
I think it'd be great to start with applauding the current owners for their efforts to preserve the house and for participating in the Mills Act. It's a great thing for them to do, and they have my thanks.
Yeah, and the house is probably Newsom and Newsom design. There are several of them, similar style houses in Eureka, and I know at least the one on Hillsdale has been attributed to Newsom. So it has more than the usual significance. Other comments?
I'm always curious about what they're going to do with the hardware off the doors, because they are definitely match a certain period. And in Santa Cruz, we had within the city an ability to store such items. And I don't know, as far as I know, we don't do that here in Eureka at all. But it's something that's going to be gone eventually and never be available again. Reminds me of something I found in a pull-out drawer a couple days ago. It was glazing points for putting windows in. Brand new box with a tool inside of it, and the price on it was 10 cents. You can get, you just can't buy them like that any longer, and it would be nice if we were able to do something, or have a contractor that is interested in them to use them.
My understanding is that the applicant is going to reuse the hardware?
Yes, they're going to refurbish, remove the paint, and reuse them.
But they're not lockable.
Their hope is that they are, but if they're not, they'll just put a deadbolt.
Thank you.
Yeah. The existing, there are 3 openings there. 2 of them have 5-panel doors, one of which is severely deteriorated. My guess is, based on the style of the door and the style of the building, those 5-panel doors are original to the structure. I am a little bit disappointed that the applicant has already bought doors, because a 5-panel door would have been more in keeping with the original character of that building. Other comments?
I agree with you, Ted, but until I saw the 3 doors up there, the middle door looks like it has a dog door in it. It doesn't have the 5th panel down there. It doesn't have the rail across it.
Yeah, one of them looks like it actually may work. The other one looks like it's been funkily repaired, and the third one clearly is somewhere else.
Yeah. Mike Egan had some 3.0 5-panel doors that he wasn't going to use, and he asked me if I wanted them for a new bathroom I was building, and so I took them and I cut them right down the middle, took a section out of the middle of it, glued them all back together, pinned them and glued them all back together, and when Mike came over to the house one time, he said, "Are these the doors?" He said, "You can't even see that they were put together, back together, and they're the character of the house." So it was a very nice gift.
Yeah, and I do know 5-panel doors are available because I put them into my house. Simpson makes them. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful doors. Other comments?
Yeah, there's a note in the staff report about these not being visible from the public right of way, and I was assuming that there must have been some kind of a tall hedge or a building in the way, but from the picture included on a page is not numbered. Yeah, they're clearly visible from the public right of way, although, diminished in size by perspective. And the idea that they'll most closely match the existing front door feels like it's not a good rationale, since that's not an appropriate door for the historic period either. We do have 5-panel doors available in various locations in our community, and we have door manufacturers in our community that could reproduce doors that would match this. And the consideration of replacing like in kind is always been something we've talked about at the desk when doing a project in a historic area. Unfortunately, pine is a very poor choice, although it's also a piece of wood for a wood door. It won't last very long in our community at all. So it meets the criteria of like and kind, but not well.
Other comments?
I just would like to, I agree with Sean, and I feel like, I don't know what this space is used for, but it insinuates garage, and the doors that were proposed insinuate front door. And I feel like it completely changes what the presentation of the facade intends, if that makes sense, based on the windows. So I just I feel like it would change it a lot.
Question of staff: do you know what those doors access?
2 of them are for garage, or one is a workshop, one is a laundry room, and the other one is walk through to the garage.
Okay. Other comments?
Well, I certainly agree with the comments that were made. And if somebody wanted to make a motion.
Well, it is time for a motion. Would you like to make one?
Does that mean I have to make a motion?
No, you don't. I'm just offering you the opportunity.
If someone was to make a motion requiring or asking for the doors to remain 5-panel doors, I would second it. Sean? Or I'll make a motion.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay.
So we have a motion to
Yeah.
approve the staff report with a condition that the three entry doors be 5-panel doors, similar to the originals.
Yes.
So it's
Okay.
a require, not a recommend.
Sorry?
It's a require, not a recommend.
Correct. Thank
Okay.
you very much. So that is the motion. Do we have a second?
I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. Do you want to discuss this item? The one question that came up in my mind was the applicant wanted lights in the door. I didn't know why. I'm not sure how important that is to them. Take that for what it's worth. Other comments? Any further discussion?
I actually thought of something. You mentioned they're pine. Are they intending on painting them to match, or just leave them raw pine?
Does staff have any information on that point?
I'm not sure. No, I think their intention was to leave them, at least put some kind of cure on them so they can be weather resistant. But I think they were intending to keep that wood look.
That also would be outside of the historical presence of it all the same color too, wouldn't it?
The short answer is I don't know. I don't know what. My guess is the original doors were painted, but that's pure speculation.
I think it would also be intelligent to paint if it's pine on the outside, or we'll see them in another year.
Yeah. Any other discussion?
I've got a question, Ted. If having the lights, the windows in the door is important to the applicant, is there a workaround? Is there some other door style that's, if it had 3-panel and 4 lights at the top? I mean, is the light, the window important for access or visibility, or doesn't it matter?
From my understanding, those laundry rooms and work rooms are really dark. And so the light was going to be helpful to bring in some natural light while their tenants are in there. That building also has 2 apartments. So it's a shared laundry room. So it gets a little dark in there. So I think the intention was to allow some light and some fresh air.
So I see at least 2 options here. One is to approve something like what the applicant has suggested. Mm-hmm. The other is I know that the 5-panel doors that I looked at when I was buying had options for glass. Now, if one did go for 1 panel of glass or 5 panels of glass, it would change the appearance of the door from, even though it was a 5-panel, it would be somewhat more modern than the original. So the motion is to require a 5-panel wood door similar to the original. Further discussion? Are you all discussed out?
I have a comment to make about the hardware.
Please.
I think the modern update of adding a deadbolt for security is a fine conciliation for maintaining the historic handle if possible. We don't often carry around skeleton keys these days, so if we can maintain security and some historic fabric or something that looks like that in the handle, that'd be great.
Okay. Any further discussion of the motion? I sense you're ready to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed say nay. It appears to be unanimous in favor. So we've approved the project with the condition that the doors be 5-panel wood similar to the original. Anything further on this matter? If not, Then there's no old business. No. Is there any new business the commission wishes to bring? Director's reports.
The only thing that Deputy Director Castellano told me to report on was that your next meeting's on July 3rd. But yeah, so just checking if you we would have a quorum, or if we should go ahead and cancel.
I'm gone.
Seems show of hands is who thinks they'll be here. Okay, so I think that we'll have enough then. So we'll have it most likely because we have something.
Oh boy.
You
Good.
guys may be missing something.
I always miss things.
I think it's just the
throwing it out.
Carson Park playground.
Okay.
Yeah,
Anything else?
that's it.
I am curious to know how your staffing battle is going.
We hired a new senior planner to replace Lisa Savage, who retired. So we're now fully staffed and training up.
Well, you've crossed a major hurdle. Keep up the pace.
We just have to keep the staff.
Any other questions, Director?
I had just a statement on the calendar. June 22nd, we have a historic home and garden tour. It would be great, I think, if our commission members had the time to go visit.
Yep. That was commission's reports. Any other reports from the commissioners? Information to share? All right. Then we move into the public comment period. I will formally open the public comment period. This is a time for anyone in the audience to address the commission on a matter which is within our jurisdiction. Seeing the audience not rising to the microphone, thank you. I will close the public hearing. Is there any additional business for the commission? Then we stand adjourned until our next meeting, which is July 3rd. Thank you all. And again, my apologies for being tardy.